Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2015. Later, spring begins, and guess what? It is snowing out. Unfreaking believable. We are supposed to get 6 more inches of snow today on March 20th. This winter will never freaking end. I've never seen such a cold winter in my entire life. We've had a lot of snow, but not record snow, but the cold has been record. It's just plain disgusting. I've said this week after week. You guys out there who live down south in Florida or out west, you people are so lucky. You have the best weather. Please enjoy it. Enjoy your sunlight. Well, we don't get that much. Anyway, today we have a very, very important edition of the Crazy New York Driver Show. The main topic of today will be the new seller updates that were released by eBay a few days ago. I'm sure there are a lot of questions, and I want to go over as much of it as I can. We'll be talking about a few other things, including eBay stores, flying the eBay flag, and some other updates. So let's just do a little bit of a rehash first of this week's activity, and then we'll get into the seller updates. First of all, this week has been unusually busy for me. Actually, the last 2 weeks have been very busy, and I'm going to attribute this directly to the fact that I have retooled all my listings. Because guys, as you know, I offer free shipping on everything. And I have retooled all my listings to reflect calculated shipping as opposed to a flat cost. This is very important. I've talked for 2 weeks about this. A lot of you guys have written in saying that you're following my advice, and I hope it's working for you, because I give you my solemn word, guys, my sales are way freaking up. It's been a long time since I could fly the eBay flag this high. I mean, I always fly it, but I mean, I'm on the top of the freaking mountain now. Change your listings if you haven't. This only goes for those guys who are offering free shipping. You must use calculated shipping, not flat cost. For those of you guys who are not offering free shipping, this does not apply to you, because I've had some people ask about that. As far as my general sales this week, I had 1 cancellation and I had 1 return. The return was a person who bought a hub, got it, and then writes to me and says, "Joe, I don't need the hub anymore. I sold the car." Which is kind of an unusual thing, but it's part of doing business. No big deal. The cancellation is a little different. What happened is a guy purchased a hub from me the other day, paid right away, and within 5 minutes, I get one of those automated letters from eBay that says the buyer wants to cancel the transaction. So, no big deal really, because I haven't shipped anything and I haven't printed any labels, because I never print any labels during the first hour, just in case the person wants to cancel. So, I said to myself, I bet this person is canceling because once they paid me, the eBay sponsored searches came up and they found the same cap cheaper from another seller. So I jumped onto watch count just to check my theory out, and sure enough, same crap as always, he found it cheaper from another seller through the sponsored search that eBay promotes. So, still, to be fair, there's nothing I can do about that. So, before I could even approve the cancellation, this guy contacts me directly through the eBay message system and says, "Joe, I'd like to cancel the item I just bought from you. I purchased the wrong hub because it's the wrong year." Now, this is where my feathers got ruffled a little bit, because that's not true. He purchased the right hub, he found it cheaper from someone else, and he's not manning up to it. So, I wrote back to him and I said, "Dear John Smith, I'll be happy to cancel the transaction, no problem, because I haven't shipped anything yet. But I was under the impression that the reason you wanted to cancel the transaction was because you found this same hub cheaper from another seller after you bought mine." I just wanted him to know that I knew what he was doing, but hey, it's part of doing business. You have to deal with this kind of thing. And I accept it. My only complaint is not that he canceled, but that he wouldn't man up and say, hey, listen, I found it cheaper from someone else. Even if he had said that, I would still have to accept the cancellation. That's the way it goes. You deal with it. So yeah, that was basically the interesting story for the week. One thing I've never taken a poll on, I don't think, is how many of you guys have eBay stores? And I'm asking that because it's going to figure into the eBay seller newsletter. So what I'd like to know, guys, poll. All right, who here has an eBay store, and what level store are you? There are the basic stores, the premium stores, and the anchor stores. I am a premium store seller, and I'm wondering what level you're at. So if you want to take the poll and jump in with your comments below, that would be great. When you think of eBay, you often think West Coast. And that's true. I think of it that way too, because eBay seems to be, located in the San Jose area. And I've always wished that they had a New York City location. I don't mean some little satellite office. I mean a huge, huge brother location to the California locations. And I don't think that's going to happen. But I would like to say that this summer I will be flying out west to chat with some really good eBay people. In last week's video I mentioned the Crazeenydriver road trip that was upcoming. I guess road trip is not a correct terminology. It's a misnomer, if anything, because I'll be flying out. And I'll have more information about this. It's not till the summertime, so you got 3 months to go at least. But once the time gets near, I'll announce where I'm going to be. And hopefully some of you guys can stop by and say hi. And I'll be talking with a lot of cool people. I know about probably 75, 100 already who are going. And it's going to be very enjoyable. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to do some business too. More on that as the time comes. But let's continue on. Oh, well, eBay Radio is one more thing I want to jump on before I get to the seller newsletter. eBay Radio is a very good way to find out what's going on in the community and ask your questions. I've talked about this before. In my opinion, there are only 2 ways that you as a seller can stay informed with what's going on in eBay. Number 1 is right here on the Crazeenydriver channel. My videos are out every Friday like clockwork. Number 2 is through eBay Radio, which is Tuesday and Thursday. Just yesterday, Thursday, I actually heard one of you guys call in, Albert. Albert called in, and I love when I hear my subscribers call in because I think, yeah, that's one of our own that's calling in. And I think that's great. Albert called in and talked to Griff about one of his listings, and Griff gave him his opinion on it. They call it dishing a listing. And the purpose of eBay Radio is to discuss your problems and concerns. And if you have an issue you don't like, you're allowed to call in about it, but you're not allowed to call in and hate. You can't hate on people, you can't hate on your competitors' listings, and they stress that, and I think it's great. When you do attempt to call in, you have to, of course, register with your eBay account. That's to keep out the riffraff and the haters and those who've been banished from the castle of eBay. But yeah, I do find it to be very helpful and informative, and I've been on it many times myself. That being said, the last 2 episodes of eBay Radio focused mainly on the eBay seller updates. And I missed a bit of the Tuesday show because I'm telling you, 2 o'clock, I had my Mac queued up, the show started, and of course that's when everybody decided to come into my place and buy their caps. So I missed several sections of the show. I'll have to go back and listen on the archives, but I caught most of yesterday's as well, and I'm going to go over some of the points of the eBay seller newsletter. Let's do that now. The newsletter affects people in two ways: your auction listers versus your fixed price listers. Let's talk about the auction listers first. eBay seems to be going back to its original roots, where they are actually focusing more on auctions than they have in a long time. Some of the changes I'd like to point out are your 10-day duration listing auctions. In the past, eBay would charge an extra fee to list your item for 10 days instead of 7. They are no longer doing that. Again, that won't affect me, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's actually a good thing. Another thing they're doing with auctions is they're now imposing a $1 surcharge, a $1 fee on any 1 or 3 day listing auctions. My opinion is that this is good, because what people were doing, and this was big with the China sellers, they were doing this, they were listing things with 3-day durations to give themselves a boost in the search. So they'd list the thing, let's say on a Monday, bang, they'd get a boost in search, and then 3 days later, right before the item ends, they'd get another boost in search. Capiche? Most people run their listings for the 7-day duration. But anyway, that's just with that particular issue. I think that's the only fee that's being raised with the auctions, if I'm correct. Right now, if you want to know why I'm looking down, I got my Mac queued up here to the information. Now, with your various insertion fees, this is important. And this goes for you auction style people. Here are the fees per store. If you have, first of all, you're getting, as you know, a certain amount of free listings, both auction style and fixed price. In case you don't know what they are, I'll tell you them right now. For the basic store, you get 150 fixed price listings, no charge. Premium store gets 500, that's what I'm in. And then your anchor stores get 2,500. Whereas for auctions, all right, it's a little bit different. And let me tell you what the fees are going to be too. This is fees over the free listings that I just told you about. For auction styles, basic store, 25 cents a listing, premium store, 15 cents, and anchor store, 10 cents. That's for your auction style. For your fixed price listings, basic store, 20 cents, premium store, 10 cents, and anchor store, 5 cents. So it's really not much of a change, if any, there. I myself would like to see way more than 500 listings for my premium store, because that's not enough. That's not even close to being enough. I myself have about, I guess, between 1,000 and 1,100 listings right now, and I really got to start to list more items. So I would like to see more free listings in that, but that's just my opinion. The anchor store gets the 2,500 free listings, but that's expensive. I mean, you got to really be a big box seller to afford an anchor store. And you know, maybe someday I'll be a big box seller, but at this point I'm not. So, all right, I don't want to talk anymore about the fees. Now I want to go back to something else. I want to go back to what they call product identifiers. eBay is big on product identifiers in your listings. Now, what do you mean by that? It could be the brand, it could be the manufacturer part number, or it could be the global trade item number. At the end of this year, 2015, eBay will require product identifiers for all new items. Listen to me. Listen. All new items, not used items, okay? Like not collectibles. For instance, if I'm selling a used set of hubcaps from a 1956 Chevy, they would be exempt. All right? If you're selling a used Barbie doll, that would be exempt. But if you're selling something new in box, that would qualify. Okay? Now, with my later model, my brand new hubcaps, that's not a big issue for me because I do have part numbers. In fact, I have a lot of the part numbers already entered on my listing, so it's not a big deal. But somebody had brought up an interesting fact, and I read this on the eBay boards. I don't usually go onto the eBay boards, but I did this time. I wanted to see the feeling of the community, because somebody on eBay Radio called in and said that they had read a lot of negativity regarding the eBay seller updates on the eBay message boards. I wanted to check that out, and they are correct. There was a lot of negative postings. One of the ones that caught my eye was what you do when you have an NOS item. NOS means new old stock. All right? So let's just say I have a new old stock item from 1968, a hub, for instance. That would not have a UPC code. It certainly wouldn't have a global trade item number, all right? And it may or may not have a part number because a lot of that stuff is all obsolete now. So somebody brought up the fact, what would you do if you had such a listing and you wanted to list it and you're listing it as new, all right? And I believe they had written into eBay, and eBay's answer was you could list it as not applicable. Apparently they're going to have a box where you can check that says not applicable for a part number or global trade number or brand. Again, I haven't seen this myself yet, but it's something that we need to keep in mind for the future. On the Facebook groups, I've read their comments regarding the seller newsletter, and I would say most of that was upbeat, meaning they weren't complaining like they were in the eBay forums on the site. And I'm going to assume that most of you guys have at least read the eBay newsletter, or at least skimmed through it, and you probably have a gut feeling as to what you think about it right now, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are from what you've read. I myself do not see a lot of new changes. I don't see anything that really concerns me, anything that I can cry and moan about. eBay is saying that if we use their product identifiers for our items, that it will give us a big boost in search results. And I am for anything that will give us a boost in search results. So if what they're saying is in fact true, then yeah, why not? Put your manufacturer's part numbers in if it applies to you, and your brand in if it applies to you. Like the old saying goes, it's like chicken soup. It can't hide, right? I mean, I don't see really anything to stymie sales. I'm for increasing sales and increasing my sales and increasing your sales. And hopefully your sales have been increased. Somebody wrote into me today, the other day, saying that they contacted eBay because they got 2 defects due to buyer remorse. In one case, the buyer bought an item that was blue, and when they got it, they claimed it was royal blue. So they filed a snag complaint against the seller, and the seller had to take the item back and pay the shipping and all that, and he got a defect. So he called up eBay, and he told them the situation, that it was because of buyer remorse. And I should tell you that he got a rep right here in the USA, and the rep was very helpful, very nice to him, and said, yes, I can clearly see this is buyer remorse. I will remove the defect for you. And he did remove the defect. Okay? But is there a chance that the person could still neg me? And the eBay rep said, yes, there is such a chance that the person could neg you. And I guess they're going to cross that bridge when they come to it. I don't know if he can get the neg removed because of buyer remorse or not, but the fact that they got the defect removed is a step in the right direction. Coincidentally, the same seller a few days later had a similar occurrence. He called eBay again, got a rep in the USA, and the rep said, I totally understand. I can see it was buyer remorse. No problem, I'll remove the defect. And this seller is ecstatic. He got 2 defects removed, and getting a defect removed is always a good thing. Today is March 20th. I'm curious to see, let me check, I didn't even check this. I'm curious to see if they have revised the defect count. Let me check mine right now, we'll see. I checked last night, which was the 19th, and they hadn't removed it, they hadn't revised it. Let me see right now. Nope, nothing. They still haven't revised it. I guess because they're on West Coast time maybe, and there's a 3-hour difference. Maybe tonight, I don't know. But yeah, the main point of this video, guys, is not to get all bent out of shape about the eBay seller updates. I don't see really anything that's going to hurt us in this. You know, there's a few things that we do have to change, like the part numbers and the brand and all that. And if that gets us into search, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. I am a little bit stymied by the fact that eBay seems to be promoting auctions more than fixed price listings, because in the past they were big on fixed price listings. Now they're going to give us all these free auctions, all right? And there's nothing wrong with something free. You know, the reason why I don't partake of the free auctions is because eBay does not require the person to actually pay for the item. If they had some kind of immediate payment system in place, checks and balances, I would immediately go back to listing with auctions. I stopped doing it a couple of years ago. You know why? You know, I like fixed priced. Fixed price listings are great. The person pays immediately. They have to pay. There's no way they can buy your item if they don't pay. I am a big fan of the fixed price listing, and I've never had any problems. Sure, there's going to be some cancellations. All right? That's just part of doing business. Nothing you can do about that. So, I guess basically that's it for now. Let's do a brief rehash. Number one, the one thing you all know by now, you've been watching my videos here since 2007. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. But you are selling on eBay, and that's what counts. Unless, of course, you got banished from the castle. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Again, if you have any comments about the eBay seller newsletter, comment below, whether it's positive or negative. I want to hear what you guys think. If you guys have an eBay store, I'd like to know, if you don't mind, what level are you? I'm just wondering where we're at with that. If you don't have an eBay store, you can stay that too. If you have any comments about the eBay boards, eBay radio, anything else, that's about it. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll be here next Friday for another edition of the Crazy New York Driver Show. Remember, there's only 2 ways to stay informed on the eBay community. This show right here, the Crazy New York Driver Show, or eBay radio. And of course, you got your Facebook groups where you can talk to each other, but I'm talking about direct conduits to eBay. All right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. And remember, it's nothing personal, it's just business. See ya!